Simon Kerrigan and Glenn Chappell bowled Lancashire to an astonishing 14-run LV County Championship victory at Colwyn Bay, Glamorgan collapsing horribly with the winning line in sight for them. The home side had had the better of the first 2 days, and when James Anderson had his middle peg knocked out by Jim Allenby in the morning's third over, they remained big favourites. Lancashire were 5 down with a total on 105, and that left them still trailing by 14 runs. Stephen Croft and Simon Katich then steadily nudged their side into the lead. Katich had resumed his innings on 28, the best individual score by any Lancashire man in this match to date, and so it was obvious that his wicket was going to be the big prize for Glamorgan, especially as he was playing some lovely crisp straight drives. Both batsmen were busy but watchful, waiting for the right ball to score off, and in doing so they added 49 runs for the 6th wicket in 15 overs to put their side 35 runs to the good. So effectively Lancashire were on 35 for 6 when Croft on 18 edged a drive off Michael Reid behind. And when Katich, having scored 65 off 128 balls, was adjudged to have edged this delivery from John Glover behind, the game looked lost with Lancashire on 164 for 7, leading by just 45. Enter Chappell to join Gareth Cross as Lancashire just started their march to the top of the hill. They had a long climb ahead of them, but every run scored was at least giving them just something to protect with the ball later in the day. Having come together with 40 minutes of the morning session left, this pair managed to get to lunch unscathed. After the break, Chappell looked to express himself. This shot landing the ball in a local's back garden. They were just giving themselves the slimmest of chances as the Lancashire total moved beyond 200 with a stand of 44. But the attacking intent cost Chappell his wicket on 26, and his reaction to his dismissal probably tells you that he thought his knock had been in a losing cause. That was until Kyle Hogg stepped in at number 10. No mug with the bat, he has in the past scored 15 first-class 50s with a top score of 88. He played fluently, but with few risks, while Cross kept his wicket intact at the other end by playing with due care and attention. These strokes from Hogg at least ensured that his side would have something to bowl at, and the target set would at least be more than Lancashire had made in their first innings. Hogg was leading the way as he approached his 16th first-class 50, although that may have also heartened Glamorgan, as they would have known that the pitch was still playing well enough. Cross has rarely played an innings as important without playing his shots. This was just his third boundary in a stay of 2.5 hours. His innings of 30 occupied 94 balls, his last one seeing him turning a delivery from Glover to Dean Koska. Hogg on a fine 47 followed in Glover's next over, edging a wide one behind, as Lancashire were all out for 272, their last 3 wickets adding a crucial 108 runs. That gave Glamorgan a target of 154, and they had 47 overs of this day to try to get the job done and give themselves a day off. Some may have asked for some caution from openers Will Bragg and Ben Wright, but both looked in a hurry to get the job done as one boundary followed another. 38 runs were smashed off the first 27 deliveries of their innings, and in spite of the efforts of the Lancashire lower order, there again seemed only one possible winner of this excellent LV County Championship contest. Having defeated Worcestershire in their last game in Cardiff, Glamorgan were well on course for their second success in 2 matches. In a flash, the runs required were down to just 116, with all of their wickets in hand. Wright hit 14 off a dozen deliveries, but then cut Anderson to Carl Brown to brighten up Anderson and co. Not for long, however. Bragg appeared to have something important to do on Saturday as he continued to excel with some wonderful cricket shots and 1 or 2 more fortunate ones. He raced to his half-century off only 48 balls, getting there in the 14th over of the innings, by which time the target was down to just 83 runs. Bragg had struck 8 fours and a 6 in his hurried knock, which had seen his side close to the winning line. Even after Kerrigan had Stuart Walters LBW for 5 with a total on 71, there still appeared to be no way back for Lancashire, with Marcus North now in. So Chappell decided to have a go himself, and in the second over of his new spell, he had North caught at the wicket for 9 at 94 for 3, 60 now needed. When Murray Goodwin was dropped at slip off Chappell, the chance for a remarkable turnaround had surely gone. even when danger man Bragg was bowled off the inside edge by the Lancashire skipper, who was defying his 39 years. Just 45 were wanted when the incredible Chappell struck for a third time in 4 overs, Allenby LBW for 4 at 109 for 5. And Lancashire just sensed the remarkable when, in the next over, Kerrigan got back in on the act after Goodwin uppercut him to Katic. Now the 2011 champions were on a roll, but in this wonderful game it all seemed a little too late as Mark Wallace and Glover settled the nerves and started to push their side towards the target. They saw out 6 overs in which these boundaries took the total to 129 for 6. Only 25 more runs were required. But Chappell still hadn't finished. His sensational spell now added the wicket of Wallace, again bowled off the inside edge for 12. And now it was time for Kerrigan to shine, just as he'd done in Liverpool a couple of years back when a 9-for saw his side beat Hampshire on the way to the title. Here he trapped Glover in front, before, in his next over, he persuaded Koska to drive loosely to a well-placed short cover where Anderson held on. Wow, now 16 were required from Glamorgan's last pair. Michael Hogan decided to try to do that in style, but just off screen a leaping Ashwell Prince held on, and Lancashire had done the unthinkable and won this extraordinary game of cricket. Chappell claimed it was right up there with one of the best wins of the last couple of years. It was Lancashire's first in the championship since last June. The margin of success was just 14 runs. Glamorgan had imploded at the death, losing 8 wickets for 45 runs in 19 overs. Kerrigan took 5 for 32 and Chappell 4 for 64. So from the jaws of defeat, Lancashire had snatched 19 points for the win, while Glamorgan had to settle for just 4. After such a momentous day, it'll be interesting to see where these two sides go from here.